the Nickelback version. UFC 209 goes down Saturday night, T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, trying to erase the bitter memories of what was UFC 208 and, well, the top two fights. And, I mean, the entire main card, a lot of intrigue, should be some compelling matchups, but the top two fights are what we're going to focus on. And the first fight was so nice, they have to do it twice. They're running it back. Tyron Woodley defending the welterweight title that he won from Robbie Lawler against the man who he faced in his last fight at UFC 205, that being Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. Remember what happened the first time around, boss, in terms of the announcement. They announced that Woodley had won. Instead, it was a majority draw. A lot of people thought Woodley should have been given the decision, but it was a close fight, boss. And what do you take away from their first fight that helps you preview the rematch?
Okay, so let me, the way I broke it down, I was thinking about that. Woodley took Thompson down on the first roundhouse kick. You know, boom, that Wonderboy made. So when Thompson leans a little bit forward, just a tad, he will kick with his back leg. When he leans more backwards, he kicks with the front leg, and then he does all these crazy kicks. Also, when he leans forward a little bit, he will use his hands. You can literally tell when he's going to kick with his back leg and his front leg. So you have to really look at his body positioning. And I actually think that Woodley was doing that and realized, oh, wait a minute, he's leaning forward, he's going to come with his back leg, and that's where he grabbed the kick, and he took him down. Now, Woodley threw a right straight the last 10 seconds of round number 2. It missed, but it came really close because it had 0 load up. So Woodley needs to do that all the time. Don't load up, don't be angry, just punch from where the fist is. And I know everybody will say, yeah, but it's logic. No, it's not. When you're angry, you know, you'll start loading up. Now, Woodley also needs to start with straights to the body and add low kicks. The thing is, he needs to look at Thompson's face and then hit the body, because Wonderboy will lean back on straight punches. And if he does that while looking him dead in the eye, but then go for the body, oh man, that body shot is going to connect, because Wonderboy is going to lean backwards, and he can't really flex. Now, he can also really flex his front leg if he leans back, and that's why I say give a straight to the body and then add a low kick, because if you hit a leg while the muscle is relaxed and while they can't flex, it's about 10 times more impact. It will have 10 times more impact than when they flex. It's a completely different thing. In my last fight, when I moved backwards and I kicked with a low kick, I felt my shin hitting his bone, his thigh bone. So I knew that he wasn't flexing, and I knew instantly that I was going to win this fight, because always when you have that feeling and you connect to the bone and the muscle that's in between, well, you'll see the opponent suddenly go wrong. That's what he needs to do. Straight to the body with a low kick. It's a weird combination, works really well. When Thompson kicks, Woodley needs to block and shoot in immediately, because every time when he stays there and he doesn't do anything, then you give Thompson space and he can still connect with other shots that he's going to throw. Another thing that Woodley should have learned from the first meeting is that when he attacks with his hands, he gets countered, but the counter is one power shot. You can anticipate this. So throw a jab, expect a right hand counter, and counter that counter. I just talked about that in the boxing match as well against Thurman. He should have also learned that when he presses Thompson, he's going to do really well. So push the fight. Don't respect Woodley striking too much. I know it's really great, but if you respect it too much, you give yourself no chance. Just go in, because as soon when he connected that one big shot, you know, suddenly Woodley started doing much better against Wonderboy, while he also pressed him up with his back against the fence. Oh, and instead of countering with strikes, you can also shoot for a takedown, of course. You don't have to counter with a right straight counter. Instead of throwing a right straight, you can make a combination. Throw a right straight as a distraction and right away shoot in for a takedown. Pushing the fight, again, is the best thing for the champ to do. But with his fast-twitch fibers, and that means explosive muscles, can he do that for 5 rounds if this fight is going to go to distance? But getting Wonderboy against the fence with his back, I think would be the best thing. Now, Thompson, he should, when he leans forward, kick with his front leg. It's a very hard thing to do, but he needs to do this, maybe a front kick or a side kick, and with his, and he's quite limber, so he might able to pull it off. But it's good to get inside Woodley's head, because what I just talked about, if he leans over, he's going to kick with the back leg, and if he leans backwards, he's going to kick with the front leg. So if you right away take that illusion away by leaning over and kicking with the front leg, you mind blowing this guy. I would counter with combinations as well, not a single strike, preferably a punch-kick combination, and since he's got great legs, he should always do that. Keep the center of the cage like he did most of the time in the last fight, but when it didn't go as well for him was when he had his back against the cage. So again, I'm coming back to that. Make sure you do not have your back against the cage. Constantly move out and take the center of the cage again. If it goes to the ground, get Woodley in a full guard. It's always better than a half guard, which he allowed him to do in the first meeting, but that's where all the elbows and everything starts raining down. If you get him in a full guard, at least you can lock him up and pull him on top of you. If you don't shoot, you're always messed, I say, because once he stays in half guard, might as well go for look for reversals. And now everybody says, yeah, but boss, hey, wait a minute. Woodley is a very good wrestler. He's probably not going to reverse him. No, maybe not. But if you don't try, you will never find out. Always try to go for reversals. Most of the time when you go for a reversal and the opponent posts his hand out, maybe if the reversal doesn't go all the way, you can escape the back door underneath that arm. So underneath that post that he just posted out. That's about it. I mean, it's going to be a carbon copy of the first time. I think people are going to be a lot more careful. And I think if Woodley looks at the fight and he realizes, wait a minute, I was respecting him too much, this could be a very interesting fight, because then he's going to come forward with his power. I mean, he can do damage. He almost dropped Thompson in the first time.
Yeah, he dropped him multiple times, almost submitted him with a tight submission. And Woodley, as we know, both of these guys, great strikers. Woodley, 5 of his last 6 wins have come by knockout. He's also improved his cardio over the years and, proved that he could go 5 rounds if necessary against a Thompson. Thompson, again, also majority of his wins coming via form of knockout in his recent streak. He throws more significant strikes per minute, but Woodley a little more accurate. Woodley, of course, the edge in the takedown department, but you can't discount Thompson and his unorthodox offense, the spinning back fist, the karate style, a great styles clash, and again, hopefully as entertaining and as compelling, and let's hope we get a definitive victor on Saturday, because Ty Woodley and Stephen Thompson ready to do it again. Woodley, of course, also been talking about those big money fights against the likes of the returning GSP, where I'm sure is going to be watching with vested interest. Nick Diaz is still out there somewhere. So we'll see what happens and who awaits the winner. Let's not forget Damian Maia, guys. Guys more than deserving of a title shot, and this is where you weigh the sport versus the business, and they'll get down the business on Saturday. Now, looking forward to that fight, but looking forward to the co-feature for so many more different reasons, because this one is a good old-fashioned grudge match between Tony Ferguson and Habib Nurmagomedov. I don't give a crap that they're calling it this interim lightweight championship. The winner will be the #1 contender for Conor McGregor's lightweight strap. And Ferguson, man, he's looked unbelievable. 9-fight winning streak. Nurmagomedov undefeated, including 8 straight wins inside the octagon. These two have gone at it verbally, boss, on conference calls and on social media. On Saturday, they have to meet each other in the octagon, break it down like a boss.
All right, now, Ferguson, although he's a great grappler himself and he loves it, maybe he wants this fight on the feet, attack like Michael Johnson did when he fought Nurmagomedov, push constantly and try to keep it on the feet. I do know one thing, that Ferguson has the stamina to do that for the complete fight, because this guy is insane in the stamina department. Then again, he's not a Michael Johnson on the feet. In fact, his last loss was against Johnson, but that was all the way back in 2012, and he became a complete different animal after that. Now, if it does go to the ground and Habib has a side mount, make sure your arm closest to your hip doesn't get caught in a crucifix, because that is his go-to move, and try to escape the back door once he starts using elbows. This is important. Once he is his side mount, try to use a backdoor escape. Other people try different escapes. Try to use a backdoor escape. That would be where I think that might work. But if it doesn't work, get him in the guard ASAP, because Habib is an animal if he's in half guard. He's got great ground and pound. Having him him in a close guard will make it less. He's still good, but it will be less power and easier to control. Now, when Khabib is on top in half guard, he also tries to lock up one arm behind your back and unload with the other hand. Be aware of this as well, since he will try to do this 100% certain in every fight you see him doing this. Nurmagomedov, this is going to be very interesting to see because both these fighters like to come forward, and both are kind of the same. Both have equal wins by knockout and submission. Both love the ground, but what we do know with Nurmagomedov, he really loves the ground. I love to find out whose wrestling is better and gets the top position. Or, because both these guys like to grapple, is this going to be a standing fight? Sometimes we see that, right? If people expect that this is going to be a ground fight, suddenly there's an ego match going on the feet. I don't know. I don't need to tell Khabib to watch out for the Bravo choke, because that's his go-to move also here from Ferguson. It's going to be hard, but I don't think that I don't think that I have seen Khabib ever on his back. I mean, this guy always has top position, and if he's on his back, well, it's going to be very momentarily because he's got great reversals. Then again, my memory is not that super. This is going to be a crazy fight, man. I think in this particular weight class, both these guys have the best stamina. And I think that is going to make it. And saying that at 155 is the weirdest thing to see. If you Rafael dos Anjos, all these other guys, they have insane stamina. But these guys here, they take stamina to a next level. So that's why I think it's going to be either it's going to be like in the second round. I don't see this as a first round fight. I see a second or third round if it goes for a knockout or a submission. But it might go the distance actually because both are tough.
Ferguson's most recent victory came against the former lightweight champion Rafael dos Anjos in the UFC Fight Night 98 main event last November. Man, what a run he's been on. He just turned 33. Ferguson hasn't lost in almost 5 years. The last loss to Michael Johnson, who went the distance with Ferguson, was destroyed, though, by Khabib Nurmagomedov. But since then, Ferguson's 9 victories have included 6 stoppages, 7 fight night bonuses, including a rare double for performance of the night and fight of the night for his second-round submission win of Edson Barbosa, who stepped in for Nurmagomedov at the TUF 22 finale. Remember, this is going to be the third time the charm. These two were supposed to meet on 2 prior occasions, so let's keep the fingers crossed. Nothing goes down this week to preclude this fight from happening because as much as I'm looking forward to Stephen Wonderboy Thompson and Ty Woodley, this is the fight I'm really looking forward to at UFC 209.